Welcome to today's Transformation Dive here at Earn Flow Zone. Ever treat your bank account balance like that friend who always tells you bad news? You know, the one you mentally brace yourself for before answering the call? Yeah, that feeling. That slight flinch, the automatic stiffening in your shoulders when you open the app. You're just trying to see if that one payment cleared. Maybe check the rent money? But your eyes betray you, scanning that top-line number. And there it is, that familiar drop in your stomach. A tightness builds right there in your chest. It's not just a number. It's a whole story playing out in your mind. The narrative of money arriving with fanfare and then quietly, suspiciously, vanishing faster than a free pizza at a tech conference. Another month gone, leaving behind a trail of I should'ves and what if I hadn't bought that. You tell yourself the oldest lie in the book. If only I had more money. A bigger paycheck, a surprise inheritance, winning the lottery, anything. But what if that perfectly normal, understandable thought is actually the biggest financial headfake there is? What if the real knot isn't how much is in the account, but who you're actually spending that money for? What if, right now, you're treating that money like a lavish gift to a complete stranger? If you're into real, actionable money and mindset content that cuts through the noise and helps you build the life you actually want, hit like and subscribe. It helps way more than you think get this message out. And drop a comment with where you're watching from. Or your biggest money habit win. Let's build this community. Let's dive in and change the way you think about success. That flinch, that little spasm of dread when you see your balance, it's a universal signal, like a financial alarm clock yelling, "Hey, things aren't quite right." It tells the story of money coming in, pausing for a brief, awkward moment, and then making a speedy exit, leaving you wondering, wait, where did you go? We just met. You see others seemingly cruising along. Their balance is stable, maybe even growing, and you think, they must make way more money than I do. And sometimes, yes, income level plays a part. But often the true difference isn't the income column. It's the destination column. It's about who is receiving the benefits of your hard-earned money. Are you spending it on the person you are today, caught in old habits and impulsive desires? Or are you consciously allocating resources for the person you want to become? When that money flies out the door on impulse buys, subscriptions you don't use, or keeping up with invisible Joneses, you're essentially gifting your financial potential to a stranger. This stranger is the ghost of your past impulsive self, or perhaps the societal pressure avatar, whispering, "You need this now to feel good." They take your money, offer fleeting satisfaction, and then disappear, leaving future you to deal with the empty account and the dread. It's like training for a marathon by eating donuts on the couch. Past self enjoys the donut, but future self has to run the race with zero conditioning. This highlights a critical, often overlooked truth. Financial health isn't just about earning. It's fundamentally about direction and intention. It's a surprising fact that many people with high incomes still flinch at their balance because their spending habits are serving the stranger, the person driven by external validation or immediate gratification, rather than their own future security and growth. The core concept here is shifting your financial allegiance. You need to stop unconsciously treating your money as a resource for some abstract, demanding stranger, and start consciously directing it towards future you. The version of yourself who is secure, who has options, who built something meaningful. This requires a deliberate decision to audit who is currently benefiting from your spending. A habit that changed everything for me was this. Before any non-essential purchase, I started asking, is this for the person I was yesterday or the person I want to be tomorrow? It sounds simple, almost silly, but it forces a pause. It creates cause-effect clarity. If the purchase serves the impulsive, comparison-driven stranger, the likely effect is that future flinch. If it serves future you, maybe it's an investment in skills, paying down debt, or saving for a goal. The effect is progress and peace of mind. Try this for a week. Just observe your spending. For each dollar spent on something beyond basic needs, silently ask, who is this for? Am I buying this for future me or for the stranger? Just that awareness can be incredibly powerful. You've got dreams, right? Financial goals, maybe even a vision of a completely different life down the road. You know saving is important. You know that impulse buy isn't the best idea long term. So why is it so incredibly hard to actually do the things that serve that future vision? Here's a tough truth based on behavioral science that might sting a little. Your brain treats your future self a lot like they treat a completely different person. Seriously. The you who will exist in 1, 5, 10, or even 20 years feels abstract, less real than the you who's hungry for pizza tonight, scrolling through social media for the next dopamine hit, or eyeing that shiny new gadget that just dropped. Think about it. It's almost startlingly easy to borrow from future you, racking up credit card debt because future me will handle it. Neglecting savings because future me will figure it out, or skipping investments because future me has plenty of time. Why? Because future you isn't here now to complain. Future you isn't feeling the pinch of today's decisions yet. This disconnect between your current self and that potential future person is the invisible wall standing squarely between your current financial struggles and your future financial peace, freedom, and growth. It's like building a house for someone you've never met. The motivation just isn't quite the same as building it for yourself to live in tomorrow. We prioritize the immediate, the tangible, the now. Our ancient brains are wired for instant gratification, not for compounding interest or long-term investment growth. They see a threat or an opportunity right in front of us and act. That future person who might need a comfortable retirement or funds for their kids' education? Well, they're a problem for another day, right? Wrong. That mindset is precisely what keeps people stuck on the hamster wheel, wondering why they can't get ahead. The surprising fact here, backed by fascinating neuroscience, is that the neural activity in your brain when you think about yourself is different from when you think about a stranger. And thinking about your future self often looks more like thinking about a stranger. It's not a conscious choice to sabotage yourself. It's a cognitive bias we all share. But recognizing this bias is the first step to overcoming it. It's time to tear that wall down, brick by painful brick if necessary, and start building a bridge instead. Building that bridge means making future you feel less like a distant relative you only send a Christmas card to, and more like your closest friend, someone you genuinely care about and want to help succeed. It means aligning your actions today with the well-being of the person you are inevitably becoming. This core concept, the psychological distance to your future self, is a fundamental challenge in personal finance and self-improvement. The decision point is acknowledging this and actively working to close that gap. The cause and effect is stark. The less connected you feel to future you, the more likely you are to make choices today that future you will regret. Conversely, the more vivid and real future you becomes, the more motivated you are to make smart decisions now that future you will profoundly thank you for. It's like finally deciding to train for that marathon next year. Suddenly, skipping dessert tonight feels less like deprivation and more like training. Here's a simple action prompt, maybe even a surprising habit shift to start bridging that gap. Try this for a week. Spend 5 to 10 minutes each day visualizing future you, 5 or 10 years from now. Don't just think about your bank account. What do they feel like? What do they do? What kind of peace or freedom do they have because of the choices you're making today? Get specific. Write a short journal entry as future you, thanking your current self for a specific positive action you took today. This one habit, this simple act of making future you less abstract and more relatable, can dramatically change your decision-making calculus. It transforms abstract goals into tangible motivation. Ask yourself, what's one thing future you would desperately wish you did today? Now, go do that one thing. Okay, picking up right where we left off after building that foundational understanding. All right, let's get real about one of the biggest financial saboteurs out there. It's not just some external force. Often, it's an internal battle we fight daily. I'm talking about the high cost of instant gratification. You know the feeling. That little dopamine hit you get from buying something new. That surge of relief from delaying a tough task. Or the comfort of sticking with what's easy right now. It feels good, maybe even necessary in the moment. But every single time you choose that temporary high, that immediate comfort or pleasure over a future benefit, you're making a significant trade-off. And trust me, future you is the one footing the bill. Think about it. That impulse purchase you didn't plan for? It feels great ripping open the package, the excitement of owning something new. Wonderful, but future you pays that bill, potentially with interest if it was on credit, or worse, by missing out on the opportunity that money could have created. Maybe investing, maybe paying down high-interest debt, maybe building that emergency fund that brings real peace of mind. It's like eating a whole pizza right before running a marathon. The immediate pleasure comes at a steep cost to your long-term performance. Similarly, that budget review you skipped because it felt too boring, too complicated, or just too uncomfortable, present you avoids the momentary discomfort, sure. High five for dodging that bullet, right? Wrong. Future you inherits the chaos. Bills get missed, late fees stack up, and you're left constantly wondering where your money went, living in a fog of financial uncertainty. Now, here's the crucial insight, and this might sound surprising. This isn't necessarily a moral failing on your part. You're not inherently bad with money. More often than not, this is a fundamental wiring issue in our brains, amplified massively by the world we live in, a world built explicitly for instant gratification. Companies spend billions making it effortless for you to buy now and think later. Social media is engineered to deliver endless streams of tiny dopamine hits, training your brain to crave immediate rewards and short attention spans. Our ancestral brains were great at prioritizing immediate needs. Find food now, escape danger now. And while that kept us alive back then, it's less helpful when navigating a complex financial landscape that requires long-term thinking and delayed gratification. It's like your brain is still running on dial-up in a fiber optic world. So if we're wired this way, and the world is designed to trigger this wiring, how do we even begin to fight back? It starts with awareness, with shining a spotlight on the patterns that are quietly eroding your financial future. This is where the action comes in, and it's incredibly simple, yet profound. Try this for 3 days. I want you to track every single dollar you spend. I don't mean just big purchases. I mean the coffee, the snack, the online subscription you forgot about, the parking meter, everything. Just track it. Use a simple note on your phone, a small notebook, a spreadsheet, whatever works. The key is no judgment. Absolutely zero self-recrimination. This isn't about shaming yourself. It's about collecting data. It's about gaining clarity. This one habit changed everything for me because it forces you to see, in black and white, where present you is actually sending future you's hard-earned money. It pulls back the curtain on those small, seemingly insignificant decisions that add up to that high cost of instant gratification. Do this for just 3 days, and I promise you, you'll learn things that will surprise you. Okay, now that we've laid the groundwork for understanding your current financial landscape, let's talk about something that feels abstract but is incredibly powerful: your future self. See, the biggest challenge we face is often the present bias. That shiny new gadget right now feels way more important than future you having a comfortable retirement or buying that dream house years down the line. It's like future you is a stranger, someone else entirely, who has to deal with the consequences of present you's choices. But how do you start treating future you like you? You make them real. This isn't some fluffy, feel-good visualization exercise, although there's nothing wrong with feeling good. This is a psychological hack to bridge that gap. Imagine future you. Don't just think of them as a vague concept. Give them some details. Maybe they have a name, like Financially Fearless Fiona or Chill Charlie. Picture what they're doing. Are they sitting on a beach somewhere, relaxed because their investments are humming along? Are they enjoying a quiet evening at home, not stressing about overdue bills? How do they feel? Are they burdened by debt present you accumulated, or grateful for the freedom present you created? This level of detail makes them a person you actually care about, not just a hypothetical entity. It's a surprising habit how much impact this simple mental exercise can have. People often underestimate the power of giving your future a face. It shifts it from an abstract concept to a relational one. When you're faced with a spending decision, maybe that impulsive online purchase or signing up for another subscription you don't need, pause for just a second. Take a breath. Now ask, how will this affect Financially Fearless Fiona? Or, is this helping or hurting Chill Charlie? This isn't some woo-woo trend. It's a technique rooted in behavioral psychology and used effectively in coaching and therapy to help people connect with their long-term goals and overcome inertia or short-sightedness. It's like checking in with your financial co-pilot before you make a turn. Sometimes, future you gives you a thumbs up. Other times, they're giving you a hard stare and shaking their head. You learn to listen. So, here's a powerful action prompt for you. Write a short, honest letter to your future self. No need for fancy stationery. Just pull out your phone notes or a piece of paper right now. What do you honestly hope for them financially? Do you hope they're debt-free? That they own their home? That they have the freedom to travel or pursue a passion without financial strain? Get specific. And then, what small, tangible promise can present you make to future you today? Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. Maybe it's to track every expense, or to set aside $5, or to read one page of a personal finance book. This one habit changed everything for me. That commitment device creates a bond between who you are now and who you aspire to be. It makes future you real enough to finally start acting in their best interest. Try this for a week. Every time you're about to spend money on something non-essential, check in with future you. You might be amazed at what they tell you. Building on that understanding of linking your current self to your future aspirations, let's talk about the engine room of sustainable progress: consistency. This next idea is deceptively simple, titled Small Actions, Massive Future Returns. You know, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the sheer scale of financial goals or personal development targets. People often feel like they need to make this grand, sweeping gesture, save half their paycheck, learn a complex skill overnight, completely overhaul their life in a weekend. But the truth is, you don't need to solve your entire financial future today, or even this year. Future you, the person you're diligently working towards becoming, doesn't thrive on those rare, sporadic bursts of activity. Future you thrives on consistency. It's saying, I believe in you enough to consistently put resources aside for your well-being. Learning a new skill for just 15 minutes daily? That doesn't feel like you're going to become an expert anytime soon, right? But that's an investment in future you's potential, compound effect style. Those minutes add up to hours, those hours to mastery, opening doors you can't even see from where you're standing now. It's like building a complex Lego set, brick by tiny brick. You don't see the final structure until much later, but every single piece matters. The big pervasive myth stopping so many people, it's the belief that you need a lot of money or a huge block of time to start making a difference. I'll start saving when I get a raise. I'll learn that skill when I have a free month. The truth? You need a commitment to future you. Starting small, starting right where you are. The friction point is always the launch, not the trajectory once you're in motion. Overcoming that initial inertia with a tiny, repeatable action is incredibly powerful. This one habit changed everything for me. I stopped waiting for the right time or a large sum to start saving or investing. I just started with something. A few dollars here, 10 minutes there. It's not about the size of the spark, but the continuity of the flame. So here's a direct action for you right now, something you can implement with minimal effort, but maximum long-term impact. Automate one tiny, consistent financial action that serves your future self. Don't overthink the amount. Even if it's just $10 a week automatically transferred into a savings account, or an extra $10 dedicated to paying down debt each week, set it up and forget it. Try this for a week, then let it run for a month, a year. Ask yourself, what's stopping you from setting up that tiny, automated win for future you today? It's likely just the mental hurdle of getting started, not the action itself. This small step is your declaration of intent, the first ripple in the compound effect that will create your massive future returns. All right, so we've talked about understanding your financial landscape, building good habits, maybe even setting some audacious goals. But then the money lands in your account, right? And the siren song of buy now starts playing. This is where the rubber meets the road. Or maybe more accurately, where your dollars decide if they're going on a one-way trip to the landfill of consumption or investing in a high-growth startup called Future You. We're talking about shifting your perspective entirely, moving from being primarily a consumer to becoming an investor, and critically, investing in yourself. Think about it. People love the thrill of the new purchase. That shiny new phone, maybe a gadget you saw online that promised to solve a problem you didn't even know you had. It feels good right now. It's instant gratification for present you. And look, there's absolutely nothing wrong with enjoying the fruits of your labor. But the trap is when consumption becomes the default, the automatic destination for any surplus cash. You buy the phone you don't truly need, or another jacket when your closet is already overflowing. That money, that energy is gone. It depreciates faster than you can say buyer's remorse. Now, contrast that with buying a course that teaches you a high-demand skill, or putting even a modest amount into a low-cost index fund. Does it give you the same immediate dopamine hit as unboxing something new? Probably not. It's less flash, more substance. But that course could increase your earning potential for years. That index fund, over time, has the power of compounding on its side, growing your wealth passively. This isn't spending, it's sowing seeds. You're not just parting with money, you're deploying capital strategically. Here's a crucial point, and maybe a bit of a myth bust for some. This isn't about deprivation. It's not about living a life of ascetic denial where you never enjoy anything. Absolutely not. This is about reallocation. It's about consciously choosing where your money goes, understanding that future you will benefit far, far more from assets. Whether that's marketable skills you've acquired, investments working for you, or the freedom that comes from paid-off debt, than from a pile of quickly depreciating goods or experiences that vanish the moment they're consumed. You're choosing to build a strong foundation and future growth, rather than just constantly decorating the surface. The surprising habit here is simply pausing before you spend. Most people just see money and think, what can I buy? The shift is seeing money and thinking, where can I deploy this to create more? It's recognizing the incredible power of redirecting funds from short-term pleasure towards long-term prosperity. The cause is the conscious reallocation. The effect is building a life of security, opportunity, and growing abundance. Here's a concrete action for you, something simple but potentially transformative. Look at your upcoming spending this week or month. Identify just one planned purchase that is pure consumption, something you want but don't truly need, something that won't increase your skills or build wealth. Can you redirect even half of that amount towards an investment in your future self? Maybe it's putting that money into a high-yield savings account, making an extra payment on high-interest debt, or buying that online course you've been eyeing. Just try it once. See how it feels to consciously choose investment over consumption with a specific amount of money. Ask yourself, when I spend money today, am I making a transaction for present me? Or am I making an investment in future me? This one simple question changed everything for me because it reframes every financial decision. It makes you the strategic architect of your own financial future, rather than just a passive participant in the consumer cycle. This small act of conscious redirection is the difference between spinning your wheels and actually building momentum towards the life you envision. Okay, let's expand Section 7 based on the provided structure and requirements. Section 7. Different stages, same principle. So, we've talked about future you as a concept, but let's get practical. You might be thinking, that sounds great, but I'm struggling just to pay rent. Or, I'm doing okay, but investing in systems feels light years away. Here's the powerful insight. The future self principle isn't a strategy reserved for the wealthy. It's a mindset, a fundamental approach to your resources and time that applies no matter where you are on the financial spectrum. The principle is constant. The actions you take change based on your current reality. Think of it like fitness. The principle is to build a stronger, healthier body for your future self. If you're completely new and maybe a bit out of shape, acting for future you means starting with walking around the block, maybe doing a few push-ups against the wall. Your immediate need is basic stamina and strength. If you're already working out regularly, acting for future you might mean tackling heavier weights or training for a marathon, focusing on higher levels of performance and endurance. If you're an elite athlete, it's about optimizing recovery, nutrition, and highly specialized training protocols to push the absolute limits. Same principle, building a stronger future body. Vastly different actions and focus depending on the starting point. It's exactly the same with your money and growth. If you're currently a broke beginner, perhaps living paycheck to paycheck or even in debt, future you doesn't primarily need aggressive stock market investments. Future you desperately needs stability. The biggest gift you can give them right now is building a buffer. That means focusing intensely on creating even a tiny emergency fund. Maybe it's just $100 to start, then $500. People often underestimate the power of a small stability cushion. It's not about getting rich. It's about breaking the cycle of needing high-interest debt the moment an unexpected expense pops up. This one habit, prioritizing that tiny safety net, changes the game by preventing future setbacks that could cost you dearly. If you're a growing earner, you've got some income, perhaps paying the bills comfortably, maybe even saving a little. Future you still needs stability, yes, but they also need growth, significant growth, before lifestyle inflation eats away all your progress. This is where automating your investing becomes the core action. Set up automatic transfers to an investment account before the money hits your checking account where you might be tempted to spend it. It's surprising how many people earn good money but save very little because they wait until the end of the month to see what's left. Spoiler, usually not much. Automating investment is like paying your future self first. Your present self barely misses it, and future self thanks you immensely as compound growth starts working its magic. Now, if you're an ambitious builder, someone who's already got stability, is investing consistently, and is maybe running a business or building significant assets, future you needs strategic capital and leverage time. Your highest impact actions shift from basic saving or even simple investing towards investing in systems, technology, processes, and people, hiring help, outsourcing. Investing $10,000 in a system or a person that frees up 10 hours of your week allows you to focus on $100 per hour tasks instead of $10 per hour tasks. It's not just about earning more. It's about building leverage. Future you needs you to become an architect of your resources, not just a laborer. The amounts change dramatically across these stages. Saving $5 a week feels small compared to investing $5,000 a month or hiring staff. But the core principle, acting for the person you are becoming, equipping them with what they will need most at their future stage remains the same. It's a universal key to progress. So, let's make it personal. Ask yourself, what is the single biggest financial gift you could give your future self at your current stage? Be brutally honest about where you are right now. Are you neglecting that basic emergency fund? Are you letting lifestyle creep steal potential investments? Are you still trading time for money when you should be building systems? Write it down. This isn't about judgment. It's about clarity and aligned action for the person you are becoming. Okay, so we've talked about setting up future you for success, creating plans, building habits that feel almost automatic. But let's get real for a moment. Life happens. And more importantly, sometimes present you happens. You know who I mean. That version of you, perhaps tired, distracted, or just plain impulsive, who sees something shiny or feels a sudden urge and momentarily hijacks the control panel. Present you decides that automatic savings transfer can totally wait until tomorrow, which often becomes never. Or maybe they just have to have that new gadget, outfit, pizza, right now, completely ignoring the budget you carefully crafted with future you in mind just days before. It's the financial equivalent of being on a strict diet and suddenly deciding a whole cake is a necessary form of self-care. Hey, present you has reasons. When present you wins a round, whether it's overspending, skipping a planned financial action, or falling back into an old, less-than-ideal money habit, it can feel like a failure. Like you've undone all your hard work. People often fall into the trap of thinking personal finance and growth require perfection. They see others online, or imagine they do, who seem to have it all figured out, never missing a beat, their financial lives a smooth, unbroken upward line. This is a powerful myth, and frankly, it's toxic. The truth? Nobody is perfect. Absolutely nobody. We all mess up. We have slip-ups. We make questionable decisions in the heat of the moment because, well, we're human. The real difference between those who ultimately achieve their financial goals and those who don't isn't the absence of mistakes. It's how they handled the mistakes. Beating yourself up, dwelling on the slip-up, letting shame or frustration take over, that doesn't help future you one bit. In fact, it usually makes it harder to get back on track. It's like tripping during a run and then just lying on the pavement deciding the race is over. Forgive present you for their momentary lapse. Acknowledge what happened without judgment. Learn whatever lesson is there. Was present you stressed? Bored? Triggered by an ad? And then, critically, recommit to future you immediately. This isn't failure. It's just a bump in the road. It's data. Every successful plan, whether it's a fitness routine, a business strategy, or a personal finance journey, has moments where things don't go exactly as planned. The strength isn't in the perfect execution, but in the resilience and the ability to pivot and continue forward. This is where the concept of a financial bounce-back plan becomes incredibly powerful. You know slip-ups will happen, so you plan for them in advance. Your action step this week, something that can fundamentally change how you react to mistakes, is to decide now what your financial bounce-back rule is. What happens immediately after present you makes a questionable financial decision? Don't wait until it happens and try to figure it out in the moment. Present you is terrible at long-term solutions. Decide now when future you is in control. For example, if you blow your clothing budget for the month, is your rule that you immediately transfer double the overspent amount into a specific savings or investment account the very next day? If you skip a planned extra loan payment, is your rule that you have to make that payment plus an additional fee you set yourself, like $25, within 48 hours? This one habit changed everything for me, turning potential setbacks into triggers for positive action. Think of it as your pre-programmed course correction. When the inevitable detour happens, your system kicks in automatically to get you back on the main route as quickly as possible. This pre-decision removes the emotional weight and decision fatigue from the moment after the slip-up, making it infinitely easier to do the right thing. It reinforces your commitment to future you, not by being perfect, but by being incredibly effective at recovering and moving forward. It's progress, not perfection, turned into a practical, powerful rule. Now let's step back and play a different kind of game. Time travel, but only in your mind. Imagine your future self, not just a year from now, but maybe 5, 10, even 20 years down the line. Picture them relaxed, maybe sitting on a porch, or achieving a goal they once thought was impossible. Now, ask yourself, what actions could you take today, this week, even this moment, that this future self would look back on with profound, heartfelt gratitude? Think about it. Maybe it's the decision to finally start that retirement fund they thought was completely out of reach when they were your age. Maybe it was avoiding that one ridiculously high-interest debt that could have shackled them for years. Or perhaps, and this is a surprising one for many, it was simply building the quiet, consistent habit of checking their finances without that familiar knot of anxiety in their stomach. People often underestimate the emotional weight financial stress carries, and future you will thank you immensely for lifting that burden early. It's not just about the numbers. It's about peace of mind, about freedom from that low-level hum of worry that so many live with. The powerful insight here is this: these small, consistent acts of care, acts of self-compassion for future you, accumulate into a life they will genuinely thank you for. Your current actions aren't just steps. They are entries. They are literally filling their future gratitude journal. Every dollar saved, every debt payment made, every financial concept learned, it's all being recorded. And the payoff isn't just financial. It's emotional. It's about the quality of life future you gets to experience. It's like planting tiny seeds daily. You might not see the forest tomorrow, but eventually, that forest provides shelter and abundance. Trying to plant an entire forest in one day, that's overwhelming and leads to burnout. Consistency is key, and future you knows this. They know that the small, boring things you do today are the bedrock of their stability tomorrow. This is where many people trip up. They look for the big win, the lottery ticket, the overnight success, when in reality, financial security and growth are built brick by brick, daily. It's a myth that you need a huge windfall to make a difference. You need consistent wins. This brings us to the core concept: consciously acting for future you. It shifts your perspective from immediate gratification, "I want this now," to delayed but far more significant satisfaction. "Future me will be so glad I did this." It transforms boring tasks into acts of love for someone you deeply care about, yourself, just a bit older. It's strangely motivating to frame it this way. So here's a prompt for action, something tangible to take away right now. Ask yourself, what's stopping you from doing one small thing this week that your future self will quietly appreciate a year from now? Just one small step. Maybe it's spending an hour finding a better bank account with lower fees. Maybe it's finally taking 5 minutes to unsubscribe from marketing emails that tempt you to spend unnecessarily. Or perhaps it's creating that simple budget spreadsheet you've been putting off. This one habit, this one small act of care for future you could change everything. Future you is waiting to feel that gratitude. Start writing their journal entries today. This isn't just about building a bigger bank account. It's about building future peace of mind, security, and freedom. Think about it. People often chase that next comma or that extra zero, thinking that's the finish line. But what happens when they get there? If the why wasn't peace, security, or freedom, they often feel empty. Like reaching the summit, only to realize you left your water bottle at base camp. True financial growth, the kind we talk about here at Earn Flow Zone, is less about the speedometer reading and more about the destination. A future where you're not constantly looking over your shoulder. When you consistently act in the interest of future you, you fundamentally change their reality. You reduce their future stress. You give them options they might otherwise never have. You build a life where they aren't constantly fighting fires caused by past neglect, like that unexpected roof repair you couldn't cover because you forgot to save, or the medical bill that sends you into a tailspin. It's like playing a strategy game where every move you make today unlocks power-ups or prevents obstacles tomorrow. The shocking truth: most people are playing the game on reactive mode, dealing with whatever pops up, instead of proactive mode, setting themselves up for smooth sailing. The surprising insight here is profound. True wealth isn't just a number on a screen. It's the feeling of confidence that future you is taken care of. It's the quiet certainty that you've planted enough seeds that the harvest will be abundant. And even if there's a drought, you have reserves. It's not about becoming a millionaire, though that's great. It's about becoming secure. It's the difference between frantically checking market fluctuations and calmly knowing your long-term plan is sound. It's the internal peace that comes from knowing you made the smart, responsible choice today so future you doesn't have to panic tomorrow. Consider this. Many chase financial freedom, picturing private jets and yachts. But what if financial freedom is simply having enough saved that a job loss isn't catastrophic, or being able to take that trip you always wanted without racking up debt? Or the freedom to say no to opportunities that don't align with your values because you're not desperate for the money. That's the feeling of future you being taken care of. Here's your moment of action right now. It uses the core concept we just discussed. Close your eyes for 60 seconds. Breathe deeply. Picture future you feeling financially secure. What specific feeling or scenario comes to mind? Is it relief? Joy? The ability to spend time with loved ones? The freedom to pursue a passion? Hold on to that feeling. That specific feeling or scenario? That is your why. That is the true currency you are earning. Let that image and that feeling guide your actions from this moment forward. This isn't just a visualization. It's programming your future self's emotional state based on present choices. It's perhaps the most important financial habit you can cultivate, connecting the numbers to the feeling. All right, let's pull this together. All these strategies, principles, and mindset shifts we've been talking about, they all point towards one thing: building a better tomorrow. But how do you ensure present you actually does the work for future you? How do you bridge that gap? It starts, quite literally, with starting the conversation today. You see, the relationship with your future self isn't some abstract airy-fairy concept. It's as real as your relationship with your best friend or your significant other. Though perhaps a little more one-sided initially, it begins with a simple, powerful acknowledgement. They exist, and they matter. Your decisions today directly impact their reality tomorrow, next year, and decades from now. Think of it like a muscle. This connection, this ability to prioritize future you over present you's immediate whims, is a muscle you build. The more you flex it, making small, conscious decisions today for their benefit, the stronger that connection becomes, and the easier those future-focused choices become. It won't always be easy. Let's be real. Present you is incredibly loud and demanding. They want that instant gratification, that impulse purchase, that relaxed evening, instead of building that side hustle. Present you is basically a toddler screaming for candy in the checkout aisle. Future you, on the other hand, is patient. They understand the delayed gratification, the compounding effect of discipline, the quiet satisfaction of seeing plans come to fruition. Future you is the wise grandparent who will thank you in ways present you can't even imagine yet, with financial security, freedom, peace of mind. Here's a common myth that holds people back. They think future them will magically be a different, more disciplined person without any effort now. That somehow a switch flicks on January 1st or after a certain age, and suddenly you're good with money and habits. That's simply not true. The person you become is a direct result of the micro decisions you make today. Cause and effect. Small, consistent actions now create the future you who is financially secure and living their potential. So how do you start building this muscle, fostering this relationship, and busting that myth of passive future transformation? It's simple, but not easy. Try this for a week before you make any financial decision today, big or small, from buying a coffee out to making an investment. Pause for just 60 seconds. Close your eyes, take a breath, and have a short internal conversation with your future self. Imagine they are sitting right there with you. What do they look like? What kind of life are they living? Now, ask them, what do they advise about this specific financial decision you're about to make? Are they cheering you on, or are they shaking their head with a sigh? This one habit changed everything for me because it forces you to momentarily step out of the now and consider the long game. It makes future you tangible, and their opinion suddenly carries a lot more weight. Listen to their advice. They usually know what's best for their own future. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground, linking mindset, small actions, and long-term outcomes. Now, let's bring it all together and anchor it with a core commitment. At its heart, the principle is beautifully simple, yet incredibly powerful. You need to treat your future self like someone you genuinely care about. Because let's be absolutely clear, they are you. Not a stranger, not a potential acquaintance, but the direct result of your choices. Carrying the weight or benefiting from the wisdom of present you. It sounds obvious when you say it out loud, but our brains aren't naturally wired for this kind of long-term empathy. We're designed for immediate rewards, for the now, amplified by a culture that constantly screams, buy this, experience this, have it all today. It's like your brain has a built-in future discount button that gets pressed down by advertising and social media trends. Future you? They can figure it out. This new gadget experience is way more fun right now. It's a funny thought, future you getting your bill, but it's also the stark reality. Every small, seemingly insignificant action you take today, meticulously tracking that one purchase, setting up that tiny automated transfer to savings, consciously deciding to put money towards an investment instead of another impulse buy, taking 5 minutes to truly visualize or write down who future you is and what they need. These aren't just tasks. They are bricks. You are literally building the bridge to their well-being, brick by painstaking brick. People often underestimate the compound effect of intention married with action. Think of it like training for a marathon. Skipping one run feels inconsequential, but it's the consistent, often uncomfortable, daily effort that gets you across the finish line years down the road. Your future self isn't just waiting for the finish line. They are waiting for you to start building the path. What happens if you choose to ignore this lesson? If you let that future discount button stay pressed, you stay firmly on the hamster wheel, perpetually running just to stay in place. Future you doesn't inherit a solid foundation. They inherit debt, a pile of missed opportunities, and a level of financial stress that could have been entirely avoided with just a little care from present you. You might find yourself always feeling like you're playing catch-up, haunted by regrets about past choices. Why didn't I start sooner? And wondering why everyone else seems to have their financial life effortlessly figured out. The gap between who you are now and who you could become, the gap between present you and a thriving future you, widens into a chasm of missed potential, stunted growth, and perpetual anxiety. It's a heavy burden to place on someone you're supposed to care about, isn't it? Especially when that someone is, well, you. But here's the pivot point. What if you make a different choice? What if, starting today, right now, you make an unwavering commitment to the person you are becoming, to future you, who deserves a fighting chance, who deserves peace of mind, who deserves to benefit from your present discipline and foresight. This isn't about perfection overnight. It's about a decision to start treating that future version of yourself with the respect and care they deserve. The single most important, most impactful step you can possibly take today, after soaking in everything we've discussed, is to choose one specific, actionable thing from this entire script, just one, and do it within the next hour. Don't overthink it. Don't plan to do it tomorrow. Automate that tiny saving transfer we talked about. Write that short, encouraging letter to your future self. Track that first single dollar spent. Make one decision today that is a clear, undeniable signal to your future self that you care, that you see them, and that you are willing to put in the work for their sake. They are waiting. They are depending on you. And trust me, future you, standing on that bridge you built, will absolutely thank you. It's time to make the commitment real. In the end, your bank account will catch up to your mindset, not the other way around.